your hair is getting a bit long and you don't want to go in to get it cut. You like the way it's growing out throughout the sides and the back, but this front is too long, and I'm going to show you today how you can easily trim this up without creating a crime scene on your hair, okay? So what I'm utilizing is a hair cutting comb, which I do sell these hair cutting combs on my website, shop.thesalonguy.com, and my scissors. I have my own scissors too, which I use every single day. So I'm not selling crap, but these are custom made. I'm using them every single time I cut hair. They're both available on my website. Now, the key thing you want to do is make sure that your hair is fully brushed or combed out so that there are no knots in the hair whatsoever, no knots. And also, you may see we have a new background because we're going to be doing a live show on YouTube here on this channel very, very soon. It's going to be fun. We're going to be doing tutorial stuff. We're going to be having some really fun segments and interaction, so stay tuned for when that's going to be happening. You want to make sure you comb all the way through to get all the knots out, because if you don't, you could end up cutting pieces of hair, sections of hair, and then when you brush through it, you're going to get pieces that are like an inch or two longer, and it's not going to look right. So comb it all the way out. You could use this. You know, I'm being a little rough because it's a mannequin, but you may want to use like my anti-static vent brush to get through the knots. Now, why am I doing this dry? Simply because when the hair is dry, you're seeing the results pretty much instantly anytime you do something to it. If I were to wet this, I know I can cut it a certain way and know the results, but if you're attempting this at home and you're cutting wet hair, there's a strong chance you may cut it too short, and when it dries, it's going to go from here wet and then up here. So when it's dry, it could shrink up quite a bit. So you want to be very, very, very careful. So what are you going to do? I suggest taking and using the wide teeth of the comb. That's the area of the comb where the teeth are spread out a bit more. This is the fine teeth right here. This is the wide teeth. The reason is because it gives you a little more freedom and flexibility when combing, and it gets through the hair much easier. And it also creates a softer type of effect when cutting, right? So when I use the fine teeth of the comb, it's really, really tight, as you can see, the section of hair, so there's no room for error. With this, it's a little more forgiving. So next, what do I do? Now, since you're going to be trying this yourself, you're going to be working in on this angle and like this, okay, or like this, or like this. So this is basically how you're going to be looking in the mirror. What you want to do is you can go in with the tip of the shear, just be very careful, obviously, and you can utilize this as a sectioning tool. As you can see, I'm not cutting, it's completely closed, but you can lift, right? You could also do that with the comb as well, but the comb, I've noticed, will get tangled in the hair. The tips of the shears work great, just be very careful. So what I would do, I will take the shears or the scissors, and I'm going to get as much hair that I possibly can that's going to fit in this section. Also, a nice little tip is the hair is locked in the comb, but what you want to do is comb the hair down, and then you can tap the hair into the comb this way. Because what that's going to do, it's going to push the hair into the comb to make sure it's all even as far as the tension. Now, what do? This is how you're going to start doing this. So I would suggest point cutting like this. And you're going to use the comb as kind of like a ruler or your guide. And that's going to help keep you pretty even and consistent. So, and then if you miss a spot, you go back in the other way. And what we're doing is we're creating a solid line, but it's also a bit jagged, which is okay because, again, when doing this yourself, if you're not careful and you're not cutting a super straight line, or not used to doing this, it could be very, very difficult. So now we've got a nice, even straight line in through here. I don't think I've ever cut a haircut that even before. I don't know what I just did, but So anyway, we've got that part. Then you've got to work the corners in, which is this and this, because you're not going to want to walk around looking like that unless you want to. But how do you do that? You do the same thing, but now you're going to tap the hair into the comb on like that on the section, and there is where you need to make the connection between this corner and this length. So what do? The same exact thing. You point cut until it reaches and matches that area. Then you can bring this all forward if you want. And now what have we done? We've blended in this area, this section right here, and we have a, a nice flow, which looks great. Let's do the same thing on this side and through here. Same approach. You can use the scissors as a tool. There is where the hair meets, right in that corner. And now it's blended. Again, what does the point cutting do? The point cutting just simply softens the shape right there. And if you're a bit more daring, you could take more hair into the comb, but the further you comb downwards, the less hair you're going to be able to cut. It's a lot more condensed, okay, as you can see. But if I go in with the comb here, tap it in, and I have all this to work with, I can then make, kind of more deeper strokes into the hair section, which is going to allow for maybe a bit more texture, and so forth and so on. Same thing on the other side. You can go in with the comb from more of a distance, and you're going to be able to work this in much better. So now, if you feel that it's too solid, same thing. Do the same technique. You're going to bring this up, comb this in, and now, as you can see, because we've got a lot more hair that we can cut, what I'm doing is I'm actually softening that up. If I went all the way down to here, I only have so much room. But now what I'm trying to do is soften this whole thing up. And then if you want, you can do maybe some slide cutting. You can do more, maybe some light layering and stuff like that. But what that's doing is it's really giving you an advantage and helping you trim your own hair when you're at home. And you can do it however you want. And as you can see, we've got the mop top still kind of look going on through here. If you want to even wear this hairstyle, this is just really showing how to do the front. If you wear the hair back a little bit, then you can do that and have a little bit more of a feather type of look this way. It's a great technique. It really works well. Don't forget, use code YouTube20, that's YouTube20 for 20% off and free shipping in the United States for orders over $50. See you soon.